Have you ever watched your child yell, slam a door, or throw a tantrum, and felt your own patience vanish in an instant? That anger you see isn't just behavior. It's a message, a signal from your child's mind that most parents completely misunderstand. In the next few minutes, we'll uncover the hidden psychology behind every outburst and why understanding it could change the way you connect with your child forever. Anger in children is one of the most emotionally charged experiences within a family. It disrupts routines, challenges authority, and unsettles the emotional balance of a household. When a child becomes angry, whether through shouting, crying, defiance, or withdrawal, it rarely affects only the child. Parents immediately feel its impact, often at a deep psychological level. What many people fail to recognize is that a parent's response to a child's anger is shaped by far more than the situation unfolding in the moment. It is influenced by biology, memory, cultural conditioning, and unresolved emotional patterns that may have existed long before the child was born. From a psychological standpoint, parents are not simply responding to behavior, they are responding to meaning. A child's anger can symbolize loss of control, perceived failure, or even threat to the parent's sense of competence. These interpretations happen almost instantly and largely outside conscious awareness. The human brain is designed to make rapid judgments, especially in emotionally charged situations. When a child expresses anger, the parent's brain often shifts into a protective mode, prioritizing safety and order over reflection and emotional understanding. One of the most powerful drivers of parental reaction is fear. This fear does not always present itself as fear. Often, it appears as irritation, strictness, or emotional shutdown. Psychologically, fear can disguise itself as authority. Parents may fear that anger will spiral into aggression, disrespect, or long-term behavioral problems. They may fear social judgment, imagining how others perceive their parenting based on their child's behavior. In some cases, parents fear repeating patterns they witnessed or experienced in their own childhoods. Fear activates the sympathetic nervous system, commonly known as the fight-or-flight response. This biological reaction evolved to protect humans from immediate danger. However, when triggered in parenting situations, it can interfere with thoughtful decision-making. The parent's body prepares for action, releasing stress hormones that increase alertness but reduce emotional flexibility. In this state, patience diminishes and reactivity increases. What follows is often a response driven more by instinct than intention. Another psychological factor influencing parental reactions is the concept of identity. Parenting is not just a role. For many individuals, it is a core part of their self-image. When a child displays intense anger, parents may interpret it as evidence that they are failing in this role. Thoughts such as, "I'm losing control," or "I must not be doing this right," can arise rapidly and unconsciously. These thoughts can create shame, which in turn fuels defensive behavior. Rather than addressing the child's emotional state, the parent may focus on restoring a sense of competence or authority. Cultural beliefs also play a significant role in shaping how parents perceive and respond to anger. In many societies, children are expected to be compliant, respectful, and emotionally restrained. Anger may be seen as inappropriate, disrespectful, or even dangerous. Parents raised with these values may have learned that emotional expression leads to punishment or rejection. As adults, they may carry these beliefs forward, responding to their child's anger with suppression rather than curiosity. Some parents react to anger with strict discipline because they believe it teaches control. This authoritarian approach is often rooted in the belief that emotions must be mastered early to prevent future problems. While structure and boundaries are essential, psychology suggests that excessive control without emotional understanding can backfire. Children may learn to hide emotions rather than regulate them, leading to internalized stress or sudden emotional explosions later in life. Other parents respond to anger by withdrawing emotionally. This avoidant response is often misunderstood. It is not always a lack of care, but a sign of emotional overload. Parents who feel unequipped to manage intense emotions may shut down as a form of self-protection. They may minimize the child's feelings, distract from the situation, or emotionally disengage. While this may reduce immediate tension, it can leave children feeling unseen and unsupported. In some families, anger creates a cycle of escalation. A child's anger triggers the parent's frustration, which then intensifies the child's emotional response. This phenomenon is known in psychology as emotional contagion. Humans are neurologically wired to mirror the emotional states of those around them. When a parent mirrors anger instead of calming it, both nervous systems amplify each other. The result is often a power struggle rather than resolution. To understand why children express anger so intensely, it is essential to consider brain development. Children's brains are still under construction. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for impulse control, reasoning, and emotional regulation, develops gradually and does not fully mature until adulthood. Meanwhile, the limbic system, which governs emotions, is highly active. This imbalance means children feel emotions strongly, but lack the tools to manage them effectively. Anger in children is rarely about manipulation or defiance. More often, it is a response to frustration, confusion, or unmet needs. Children may feel overwhelmed by expectations, changes, or internal sensations they cannot articulate. Without the language or cognitive skills to explain these experiences, anger becomes the most accessible form of expression. It is loud, immediate, and effective at gaining attention. Psychologists often describe anger as a secondary emotion. Beneath it lies a more vulnerable primary emotion such as fear, sadness, disappointment, or helplessness. A child who feels powerless may express anger because it provides a sense of control. A child who feels ignored may use anger to demand acknowledgement. When parents focus solely on eliminating anger, they risk overlooking the emotional message beneath it. Parental responses are also shaped by past experiences. Parents who grew up in environments where anger was punished may feel uncomfortable tolerating it in their children. Their bodies may react automatically, seeking to shut down the emotion as quickly as possible. Conversely, parents who experienced chaotic or aggressive households may associate anger with danger, leading to heightened anxiety when their child becomes upset. Intergenerational patterns play a powerful role in parenting psychology. Without conscious awareness, parents may replicate the emotional responses they observed growing up. This does not occur because parents want to repeat negative patterns, but because these responses are deeply ingrained. Changing them requires awareness, reflection, and often support. Children learn about emotions primarily through observation. How parents respond to anger teaches children what emotions mean and how they should be handled. If anger is met with punishment, children may learn that emotions are unacceptable. If anger is ignored, they may learn that emotions do not matter. If anger is acknowledged and guided, children learn that emotions are manageable and meaningful. Effective parental responses begin with self-regulation. A parent who can pause and calm their own nervous system creates a safe emotional environment for the child. This does not mean suppressing feelings, but recognizing them without acting impulsively. Calm presence has a regulatory effect on children's emotions, helping them return to a state where learning and communication are possible. Language also plays a critical role in emotional development. When parents help children name their emotions, they provide a framework for understanding internal experiences. Simple acknowledgments, such as recognizing frustration or disappointment, can significantly reduce emotional intensity. Feeling understood is one of the most powerful calming forces in human psychology. Discipline, when grounded in emotional understanding, becomes a teaching tool rather than a punishment. Boundaries can coexist with empathy. Children can learn that while anger is acceptable, harmful behavior is not. This distinction allows children to develop self-control without feeling shame for their emotions. Parents often struggle because they expect themselves to respond perfectly. Psychology emphasizes progress over perfection. Parenting is an ongoing process of learning and adaptation. Mistakes are inevitable, but reflection allows growth. Parents who approach their role with curiosity rather than self-judgment are more likely to develop healthier emotional dynamics with their children. Anger, though uncomfortable, offers valuable insight into a child's emotional world. It highlights areas where guidance, support, or adjustment may be needed. When parents view anger as information rather than defiance, they shift from control to connection. This shift strengthens trust and emotional security. At its core, the psychology of parents toward angry children is a story of two emotional systems interacting. Both the child and the parent bring their histories, vulnerabilities, and instincts into the moment. Understanding this interaction creates space for compassion on both sides. One of the most important concepts in modern developmental psychology is co-regulation. Co-regulation refers to the process by which children learn to manage their emotions through interactions with emotionally regulated adults. Children are not born with the ability to calm themselves during emotional distress. Instead, they borrow calmness from caregivers. Over time, repeated experiences of being soothed and understood help children internalize emotional regulation skills. When parents respond to anger with steadiness rather than reactivity, they are actively shaping the child's emotional brain. Co-regulation does not mean eliminating boundaries or giving in to emotional outbursts. It means that the parent prioritizes emotional safety before behavioral correction. When a child feels emotionally secure, the brain becomes receptive to guidance. Without this safety, Attempts at discipline often fail because the child remains in a defensive emotional state. Psychology shows that emotional connection precedes behavioral learning, not the other way around. Parents who practice co-regulation often begin by acknowledging the child's emotional experience. This acknowledgement does not validate harmful actions, but it validates the emotional reality of the child. Recognition reduces emotional intensity because it signals to the child that they are not alone with their feelings. This sense of being seen and understood activates calming systems in the brain, allowing the child to regain control. The opposite of co-regulation is emotional invalidation. When parents dismiss, minimize, or punish emotions, children may learn that feelings are unsafe or unacceptable. Over time, this can lead to emotional suppression or emotional volatility. Suppressed emotions do not disappear. They often resurface in different forms, such as anxiety, withdrawal, or explosive anger later in life. Psychology emphasizes that unprocessed emotions seek expression. The way parents respond to anger also plays a significant role in shaping attachment styles. Attachment theory suggests that children develop internal working models of relationships based on early interactions with caregivers. When parents consistently respond to emotional needs with sensitivity, children are more likely to develop secure attachment. Securely attached children view emotions as manageable and relationships as safe. In contrast, inconsistent or harsh responses to anger can contribute to insecure attachment patterns. Children may learn that emotional expression leads to rejection, punishment, or unpredictability. This can create anxiety around emotions or reliance on anger as a defense mechanism. Attachment patterns formed in childhood often influence emotional regulation and relationship dynamics well into adulthood. Parents may unknowingly reinforce anger by focusing attention only when emotions escalate. If a child learns that anger is the fastest way to gain attention, the behavior may increase. This does not mean parents should ignore emotions, but rather that emotional responsiveness should be consistent across a range of emotional expressions. Teaching children that calm communication is equally effective helps reshape emotional habits. Another important psychological factor is modeling. Children learn far more from what parents do than what they say. A parent who manages frustration calmly teaches emotional regulation through example. Conversely, a parent who frequently reacts with anger teaches that anger is an acceptable response to stress. Modeling operates continuously, shaping emotional norms within the household. Stress levels within the family system also influence emotional dynamics. Chronic stress reduces emotional bandwidth for both parents and children. Financial pressure, work demands, lack of sleep, and unresolved conflict can all lower tolerance for emotional intensity. In high-stress environments, even minor emotional expressions may trigger disproportionate reactions. Psychology views anger in these contexts as a symptom of systemic overload rather than individual failure. Parents often experience guilt after reacting harshly to a child's anger. While guilt can motivate reflection, excessive self-blame can be counterproductive. Psychology emphasizes repair rather than perfection. Repair occurs when parents acknowledge mistakes, apologize if necessary, and reconnect emotionally. These moments teach children that relationships can recover from conflict and that emotional honesty is valued. Repair is a powerful tool in emotional development. When parents model accountability and empathy, children learn that emotions do not permanently damage relationships. This understanding reduces fear around emotional expression and builds resilience. Even difficult moments can strengthen bonds when followed by repair. As children grow, their expressions of anger evolve. Younger children may express anger physically or through tantrums, while older children may use words, sarcasm, or withdrawal. Parents sometimes misinterpret these changes as worsening behavior, when in fact, they reflect developmental shifts. Understanding age-appropriate emotional expression helps parents respond more effectively. Adolescence introduces additional complexity. Hormonal changes, identity formation, and increased independence intensify emotional experiences. Parental responses during this stage play a critical role in shaping self-esteem and emotional autonomy. Adolescents who feel emotionally respected are more likely to develop healthy coping strategies. Those who feel controlled or dismissed may rely on anger as a form of self-protection. It is also important to recognize individual temperament. Some children are naturally more emotionally intense than others. This does not indicate pathology or poor parenting. Temperament influences how strongly children experience emotions and how quickly they recover. Parents who understand their child's temperament can tailor responses that support a regulation rather than impose unrealistic expectations. Psychology also highlights the role of emotional language. Children with limited emotional vocabulary may rely on anger because they lack alternative expressions. Teaching children words for feelings expands their emotional toolkit. Language transforms overwhelming sensations into manageable concepts. This skill develops gradually and requires patience and repetition. Parents who engage in reflective parenting take time to consider their own emotional responses. They ask themselves why certain behaviors trigger strong reactions and what personal experiences may influence those responses. This self-awareness reduces automatic reactions and increases intentional responses. Reflection turns parenting into a learning process rather than a fixed role. Over time, families that approach anger with understanding tend to experience fewer power struggles. Children learn that emotions are not battles to win or lose. Parents learn that authority does not require emotional dominance. Mutual respect grows when emotions are addressed with curiosity rather than control. Long-term studies in developmental psychology show that emotional coaching in childhood is associated with better emotional regulation, stronger social skills, and improved mental health outcomes. Children who learn to manage anger constructively are better equipped to handle stress, conflict, and disappointment throughout life. These skills extend beyond the family into school, work, and relationships. It is important to note that no approach works perfectly in every situation. Parenting occurs within real-world constraints, including time pressure, exhaustion, and competing demands. Psychology does not prescribe rigid rules, but offers principles that guide healthier interactions. Flexibility and compassion are essential components of emotional growth. Parents who invest in their own emotional well-being are better able to support their children. Self-care is not a luxury. It is a psychological necessity. Parents who neglect their own needs may have limited capacity for patience and empathy. Addressing stress, seeking support, and setting boundaries strengthen emotional resilience. Anger in children is not a problem to be eliminated, but an experience to be guided. It signals growth, frustration, and learning. When parents shift from controlling anger to understanding it, they create an environment where emotions become opportunities rather than threats. At a deeper level, the psychology of parents toward angry children reflects broader human struggles with emotion. Society often values control over understanding, strength over vulnerability. Parenting challenges these values by demanding emotional presence and flexibility. Through this process, parents often confront their own emotional histories. When parents choose reflection over reaction, they break cycles that may have existed for generations. This transformation does not require perfection, only awareness and willingness. Each emotionally attuned response builds a foundation of trust and emotional safety. In the end, the relationship between parents and angry children is not defined by moments of conflict, but by how those moments are handled. Anger does not weaken relationships when met with understanding. It strengthens them by fostering honesty, resilience, and emotional depth. Beyond immediate interactions, parental responses to anger have ripple effects that extend across generations. Families carry emotional legacies, patterns of reaction, coping strategies, and beliefs about emotions that shape how both parents and children experience feelings. Understanding anger in children, therefore, is not merely about addressing a single moment of conflict. It is about recognizing these deep-seated patterns and consciously deciding which ones to continue and which to transform. When parents approach anger with curiosity and awareness, they not only support their children's emotional growth, but also create the possibility of breaking cycles that have persisted for decades. Generational transmission of emotional patterns is a key concept in developmental psychology. Many parents unconsciously replicate the responses they observed in their own caregivers. A parent who grew up in a household where anger was met with fear or punishment may default to the same methods. Similarly, a parent raised in a household where anger was ignored or suppressed may struggle to acknowledge it in their own children. These patterns are rarely intentional. They are learned strategies embedded in emotional memory. Recognizing this allows parents to step outside automatic reactions and choose responses aligned with understanding and empathy. An essential component of generational healing is reflection. Parents who take the time to examine their own emotional histories can identify triggers and biases that influence their reactions. For instance, a parent who feels an intense surge of frustration at a child's tantrum may discover that this reaction mirrors unresolved feelings from their own childhood. By naming and understanding these internal triggers, parents gain the power to respond consciously rather than automatically. Reflection transforms parenting into an active process of emotional growth for both generations. Another powerful tool in managing parental responses is emotional literacy. Emotional literacy involves recognizing, understanding, and labeling emotions accurately in both oneself and others. When parents are emotionally literate, they can guide children through anger with clarity and empathy. Simple strategies, such as naming the emotion, "I can see that you are really frustrated right now," provide children with a sense of being heard and understood. This reduces the intensity of the emotional response and creates a bridge for communication. The role of narrative is also significant. Parents who contextualize anger as a natural and informative part of life help children integrate these experiences into their developing sense of self. Children who learn that anger is a message rather than a moral failing develop resilience. They understand that emotions are temporary, manageable, and meaningful. This perspective reduces fear and shame and encourages constructive problem solving. Over time, parents often reinterpret anger in children as an opportunity for growth rather than a challenge to authority. Moments that initially felt threatening can be reframed as chances to teach emotional regulation, empathy, and communication skills. This shift in perception changes the parent's nervous system response. What was once perceived as a crisis becomes an instructional moment, a chance for both parent and child to practice patience, understanding, and connection. Longitudinal studies in developmental psychology reveal that children whose parents respond to anger with empathy and structure develop stronger executive functioning skills. These children are better at controlling impulses, managing frustration, and making thoughtful decisions. They exhibit higher emotional intelligence and social competence, which support success in school, work, and relationships. The benefits extend into adulthood, influencing both personal well-being and interpersonal dynamics. Parents themselves experience long-term psychological benefits when they respond with awareness rather than reactivity. Approaching anger with curiosity fosters emotional resilience and reduces chronic stress. By reframing conflicts as opportunities for learning and connection, parents cultivate patience, empathy, and mindfulness. Over time, these skills enhance overall family harmony and personal satisfaction. Emotional resilience also requires balance. Parents must protect their own mental health while guiding children through emotional storms. Setting boundaries is crucial. Allowing children to express anger does not mean tolerating harmful or aggressive behavior. Clear limits paired with empathetic guidance create an environment in which emotions are safely expressed and constructive problem solving is learned. Attachment remains a central theme in the psychology of parenting. Secure attachment is nurtured when children consistently experience a caregiver who acknowledges feelings while maintaining safe boundaries. Children learn that emotional expression is neither dangerous nor threatening to relationships. Insecure attachment may emerge when children experience inconsistent responses, sometimes punished, sometimes ignored, sometimes soothed. Understanding attachment patterns allows parents to intentionally cultivate security and trust, even amid moments of anger. Generational healing also involves addressing societal expectations. Many parents operate under cultural pressures that equate authority with control and emotional expression with weakness. These expectations can create internal conflicts when parents wish to respond with empathy, but fear appearing permissive. Psychology emphasizes that true authority arises from presence, consistency, and understanding, not domination or suppression. Parents who consciously work to break these cycles often experience profound transformations in their relationships with their children. Conflicts become opportunities for dialogue rather than battles for control. Emotional intensity is met with calm attention rather than reactivity. Children develop confidence in navigating their own emotions, while parents develop confidence in their ability to guide and support without coercion. Over time, families that practice reflective, empathetic parenting create a legacy of emotional intelligence. Children internalize healthy strategies for managing frustration, disappointment, and anger. Parents model adaptive coping mechanisms that children can carry into adulthood. Emotional literacy and resilience become intergenerational gifts, passed not through rules, but through lived experience. Psychological research also highlights the importance of forgiveness and repair. Mistakes are inevitable. Parents will sometimes react with frustration or impatience. What matters is the response afterward. Repairing relationships after conflict models accountability and empathy. Children learn that relationships can withstand emotional turbulence and that mistakes do not permanently damage bonds. Anger in children, therefore, serves multiple functions. It communicates unmet needs, highlights developmental challenges, and provides feedback on family dynamics. Parents who respond thoughtfully transform anger into a tool for learning, connection, and growth. Both the child and parent benefit, developing skills that foster long-term well-being. Ultimately, the psychology of parents toward angry children is a study of human emotion, resilience, and connection. Parents are not merely disciplinarians. They are guides, mirrors, and co-regulators. Children are not merely disruptive. They are teachers, signaling areas that require attention, empathy, and understanding. When approached with awareness, curiosity, and compassion, moments of anger become opportunities to strengthen the parent-child bond and cultivate emotional intelligence that will endure a lifetime. This understanding reframes the narrative of anger. It is no longer a threat or a failure. It is a signal, a message, and a chance for relational growth. Parents who embrace this perspective cultivate homes where emotions are valued, understood, and managed constructively. Children who experience this environment grow into adults capable of navigating life with emotional depth, resilience, and confidence. The journey toward emotional mastery is ongoing for both parents and children. It requires patience, reflection, and intentionality. Families that commit to understanding anger rather than suppressing it develop stronger bonds, healthier communication, and enduring emotional resilience. Generational patterns can be transformed, emotional intelligence can be nurtured, and the cycle of fear or reactivity can be replaced with empathy, awareness, and skillful guidance. In the final analysis, the psychology of parents toward angry children is not about eliminating conflict. It is about embracing it as a natural part of human development. It is about recognizing that anger communicates, that responses shape growth, and that understanding transforms relationships. Parents who integrate these principles become more than caregivers. They become architects of emotional resilience, guides through the labyrinth of feelings, and models of human empathy. In this way, the challenge of anger is transformed into one of the most profound opportunities for connection, learning, and lasting emotional well-being.